Good afternoon. I welcome you all for this NEET session. National Education Alliance for Technology, recently launched by AICT. So now we have an expert speaker, Professor Raju Kumar sir, Member Secretary of AICT. I welcome sir for this session. And sir, I request you to address the participants on AICT initiatives.
Good afternoon to everybody. My colleagues, Buddha Chandrasekhar, who is the Chief Coordinating Officer dealing this NEET initiative, and Mr. Elangovan, he is Assistant Director, who is also looking after this NEET project and MIC projects also, and friends from industry, faculty members and students. As you know, in the recent time, AICT has taken several initiatives to improve the quality of the education in the country. Many of the times when we were going to attend several meetings, industry was always complaining that our students, they are not having the skills, required skills, which are the required skills for an industry. So we connected industry with our all activities. Now all the policies that are framed at AICT, they are framed in collaboration with the industry. So recently we have taken several initiatives. We prepared the perspective plan of the technical education. That committee was headed by BVR Mohan Reddy, who is the chairman of IIT Hyderabad, and all industrial bodies, you name any industrial body, they were there in that committee, and they gave a perspective plan of the technical education to AICT. We accepted that perspective plan, and the major recommendation of the perspective plan was that AICT must not start any engineering college in traditional branches. So, and also he identified 9 thrust areas where we should emphasize more, and if possible, we should start courses in 9 thrust areas. And the thrust areas, we all know they are AI, IoT, machine learning, robotics, data sciences, 3D printing, quantum computing, and many more. So they identified these 9 thrust areas, and they recommended that AICT must start courses in such disciplines also. Then we constituted another committee headed by experts, and they recommended that we should not start full-fledged programs in such areas. Rather, these thrust areas must come as a minor or major in running programs itself, those who have already been approved. So that because they said after some time, there may be a problem of employment if they are specialized and have the degree in the, say, IoT, if they have the degree in the robotics. So they said that you don't start these undergraduate programs in these thrust areas. And they also gave one more recommendation that AICT can start undergraduate program in artificial intelligence and data sciences, that we also accepted. And from this year, we are giving approval for this new program, artificial intelligence and data sciences. And we have advised our universities to start minors and major in all thrust areas, for which we also prepared curriculum with the help of the industry, and that curriculum has been made available to almost all the universities. And they are making amendments in their curriculum and rules and regulations also. And hopefully from this year, they will be starting and launching all such programs with minors and major. Another important initiative AICT has taken, that we make internship mandatory for all our students. Making internship mandatory is a very simple decision. Anytime anybody can take, and we can say that internship is mandatory. But where they will do the internship? That was a great challenge. Then we organized several workshops with the industry people, small and medium and small scale industries, MSMEs, all. We connected each and everyone, and we came out that we can create internship for most of our students. So when we say internship can be of social internship also, and that can be industry internship also. All sort of the work apart from the curriculum, that is part of the internship, and we have made a manual for that, and everything is recorded in that manual. And we have also created a portal for the internship where opportunities, it's the matchmaking type of portal. Mr. Buddha is looking for that portal, and many industries have already registered, and Ministry of Urban and Housing Development, because the government of India has announced this local board internship with local bodies, that is also being taken care by AICT, and we have made provisions in our portal that all these local bodies, they can post their internship, and the students, those who have done graduation, they can get these internship in their choice of cities also. So this type of initiative we have taken as far as internship front is concerned. Another important initiative that AICT has taken, that is examination reform. Examination is one such area where I have just browsed all the internet. I have not found any initiative taken by the higher education, in examination reform. What came in our mind whenever we are going to the workshops or in meetings, industry people are saying that your students are scoring 95% marks, but they are not up to the expectation of the industry. So we thought that there is some problem in our evaluation process and our examination process, and we constituted a committee. Committee gave its recommendation. We accepted their recommendation. Giving recommendation, accepting recommendation was one part. Training faculty was the most important part as per the examination. That examination reform policy is as per the Bloom's taxonomy, right? So we train teachers. Now we are training, we have already trained 2,500 teachers, and these teachers in turn will train faculty members in their respective colleges. So this is another initiative we have taken. And one more very unique initiative we have taken, that is induction program and universal human values. Universal human values. We have included in the engineering curriculum. Whenever a student is joining technical education system, he has to undergo 3 weeks mandatory induction program so that he can have a bonding with his peers, with his teachers. He can understand his department. He can understand his branch also. He can understand the surroundings also, what is happening over there. So everything he will understand during 3 weeks, because we all know now students start preparing for our competitions much early, as in 8th class or 9th class, and somebody told me that even in 6th class students now starting for the competition classes. So they are totally cut off from the society. They are only knowing their parents. They don't know what is nature. Everything is sports. So whenever they are entering in the technical education system, all sort of things, sports, yoga, and they have some talent also, like they are good in music, and somebody is good in tabla, somebody is good in dancing, clay modeling, every sort of activities they are there. So they can explore themselves also during these 3 weeks, and they can visit nearby areas of interest. And there are some lectures, not much lectures are there, from the eminent people, those who can motivate them. And also there is mandatory credit course on universal human values at 2nd year, at 3rd year also, and for which we are training faculty members presently. Another initiative what we have taken is teachers training. Teachers training is one area, except in higher education, whether it is school education or any other education, there is a formal training to the teachers. But whenever a teacher is entering in today he is completing his MTech, and tomorrow he can join the technical education system. He has good knowledge, but he doesn't have the formal training, how to conduct the classes, how to make the lecture plan, what are the ethics, how to set the question papers, how to evaluate them. These are so many things involved in teaching also. So we have prepared a comprehensive teachers training policy. 8 modules are there, and we not only policy, we created with the help of the knitters. There are 4 knitters in the country. With the help of the knitters, we created e-contents, videos, and these courses, 8 modules, they are available on our SWAM platform. And any teacher who is entering in the technical education system has to qualify these 8 courses in first semester, and during the vacation, he has to go to the industry for 1 month. And in the next semester, he has to take classes under the mentorship of one senior teacher. After all this process, he will be given a certificate. He will be a certified teacher in technical education. So this type of initiative we have taken. So far, more than 30,000 teachers, they have registered on SWAYAM platform, and now they are registering for certification also. So this is a great initiative taken by the AICTE. And another initiative is innovation. We have a innovation cell at AICTE, MHRD, AICTE Innovation Cell, who is conducting hackathons. And there are so many activities. We have created a culture of innovation in most of the engineering colleges, and we are also helping our institution in accreditation. Now we have taken one more initiative, that is National Educational Alliance for Technology. The reason was that we were getting several proposals from the EdTech companies that they have some solutions and they want to give students these solutions free of cost. Those who were able to give these solutions free of cost to our students, we were signing MOUs and they were providing these solutions to our students. But there are some EdTech companies, those who have very good products, but because they cannot provide it free of cost, so we had a handshake with all such companies, and we have devised a mechanism that is known as NEET, National Education Alliance for Technology. Mr. Buddha Chandrasekhar and our Alangovan, who is responsible for implementing this NEET, will tell you more about this during future course of action. So there are several initiatives in recent times AICTE has taken. With all these words, I pray that NEET, because this session today is basically for NEET, our experts and AICTE people, those who are responsible, those who are executing, will make the things clear to our students and faculty. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your speech. Participants, I request Mr. Buddha Chandrasekhar ji to handle the session.
Yeah, hi all. As you know, the world is changing in a rapid phase. So AICTE also started, doing a lot of advanced technical stuff nowadays. So we are no more only an approval or content, content driven or company. So now we move towards a advanced technological layer, which we have added on top of it. So we started creating advanced artificial intelligent management systems in it. So one of the system which we developed is NEET. But before we go to that, we did a small research why our students are not getting employment. So I would like to share that with you and go through that. Then we will introduce you to the NEET platform. So do you all see my screen?
Visible, sir. It's visible, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a small presentation created by our Honorable Vice Chairman Punia ji. So basically it talks about challenges of employability. There are various reasons why the student is not getting employment. So one of the reason being is the lack of fundamentals in terminology, because what is happening, he don't know how to even pronounce. And sometimes, you don't know the concepts, and practicality is another issue, which is basically bothering them. Because if I ask you if you can tell me what is cloud computing, they will immediately mug up and tell you what it is. But if I ask them to kick in a virtual machine, then it's just next to impossible for minimum 90% of the students who already who have answered this question. So lack of practicality is one issue, which basically Rajiv ji explained, how we are filling that gap. So now we requested every college who associated with AICTE is going to have a tie-up with the nearest industries. So with the 5 industries, and we are providing an internship opportunities for our students, so that while studying, they will learn the real-time concepts as well as real-time scenarios. And lack of knowledge of current developments. See, because what is happening is, you may be reading something, which is of 20th century, but now we are in a 21st century. So a lot of things got changed. The entire world is changed. The way we interact with changed. The way we communicate is changed. The way data is getting transferred from one place to another place is changed. I mean, if you remember long back, we used to have those small navigation devices. Now we don't need that. All you need to do is just go to Google and use it. And if you remember, we used to have those blackboards. Now we moved from blackboards to learning management systems. But AICTE wants to give the best. So we have created the advanced, adaptive, and personalized learning management systems, which I will explain it later. So along with this, unable to read the engineering drawings, this is another biggest drawback what we have identified. So we decided, why don't we give some courses to our students where they can simulate the things and look into those simulations and practically execute those simulations using their missions. So that's another area, we have identified, and we try to fill the gap. And lack of analytical ability, because see, even though if you know the concept, others won't give you so much of time to explain. So you need to understand the bird of view and try to create a KPIs. I mean, nothing but decision-making data. How you can collect, how you can curate it, how you can analyze it, how you can put that in a very simple and business perspective. These kind of analytical capabilities is another area, which we concentrated, and we identified this is a lack from the student side, and we started working on it, and we created some courses which can help them on the analytical side along with the managerial skills and creativity. So you will see some of the courses, which is addressing such kind of gaps. And lack of positive attitude. I mean, along with the studies, you need to have a positive attitude and interest to learn the subject. So this is another thing. The next one is, most of the people are interested on white collar jobs and preferring only IT. I mean, but if you see the 4th generation technology framework, most of the IT is an enabler. IT is not a main business. So the main business may be, the construction is a main business, manufacturing is a main business, banking is a main business. So these are the domains supported by information technology. So a lot of students never understood this concept, and they are trying to stick themselves to the IT. But here we identified those gaps, and we are trying to create a scenario where the IT along with the domain knowledge. So these are the two different blends we come together, and we are trying to create some courses, and we are trying to create some products which basically covers these both entities. Because the minute you have only IT, if you don't have the business logic or the domain knowledge in your mind, then then someone else who has both will get a first preference than you. So that is another area which we like to cover. The next one is the commitment and the stability, as you already know. So I will just move on to the next one. So who owns the learning? I mean, this is again another big problem. I mean, there is a centralized training is one aspect. The other one is basically the pull and push. The self learning phased learning. Example, you take YouTube. That is a best platform for self learning. Imagine if you don't know about one subject. Example, a lot of people don't know about COVID, till last few months, right? So simply you go to YouTube and you will fill in, the search called COVID, and you will get all the information, right? So it's a history of that entire virus, and how it started, where it started, when it started, and and you will see the entire history. So it's a self-paced learning. See, nowadays the kind of a learning patterns got changed. And you can simply go to any platform and you will try to adopt the subject, on fly. And there are a couple of linear methodologies and there are a couple of non-linear. So a couple of products are adaptive in nature. So what we thought, we have preferred the adaptive in nature and customized learning management systems for our students. So not only the classroom based, it's a webcast based, simulation based, and some people are trying to extract the data from the third party, and it's a peer-to-peer based skill assessments, online mentoring. I mean, these are different areas where we concentrated, and we try to, come together and put everything in one place. And as you know, nowadays we all started smart classrooms. So when we say smart classrooms, what it really means, it's not the physical device what we are talking about. We are talking about the interactive content which we are delivering. So it needs to be interactive and personalized, because my knowledge level will differ with your knowledge level. So every student is unique in this world, and everyone has their own learning capabilities and their own learning repository, because what they refer back, when we speak, that differs. So basically we are trying to, we selected a kind of a products in NEET as well as within AICT. The initiatives mostly keeping all these kind of a parameters in mind, and we want to serve the one, who's sitting on the last bench. So we want to make sure he also understand the concept in a very simple and easiest manner. So this is kind of a pattern what we have even in our mind, and we started doing all this. And putting kids in the same class because they are born in same year is absolute. This is another thought process we have, and we are churning the entire process, and we are trying to get the practicality into our course content along with this internship and apprenticeship opportunities. So this is another thing, a partnership between the students and teachers. That is what really produces the deeper learning outcomes. See, here it is not only about the content driven, it is about the communication, it is about the relationship between the student and teacher and faculty and institute and approval body like us and MHRD. So we want to facilitate the best to our Indian students. So we are keeping this in mind and started creating so many products. And as I'm teaching, are they learning? This is a big question mark, right? Because we don't want system to be a one-way communication. We want that to be a two-way communication where the teacher as well as the student both are enabled and equipped with the data. So that kind of a systems we are creating, because before the student comes to the class, they are already learning a lot of things using internet. So it is not that, in 90s, we used to have a teacher who used to say something and we used to take that as an input. But now the student is smart enough, they already have some knowledge acquired, and they will interpret things based on that. They will question the teacher. So we are not only enabling the student from AICT side, we are enabling our more than 5 lakh teachers. We are enabling them with the advanced courses. We are giving them so much power so that they can generate the bright, best students out of their classes. And this is another thing, intrinsic, extrinsic motivation. As you already know what it is, I'm just going to the next one. So hard and soft skills is another area which Rajiv ji has already addressed. So these are the different journeys we have in classroom. So now I will move towards the online training modules which we thought of creating. Initially, we have created a couple of tools, and we tested with a subset of students. Then we realized, I think, for India, kind of a country we have, and a kind of a demographic and different vernacular languages we have in place. And if you take a village student and urban students or remote, rural students, their method of learning, their understanding levels, their capabilities are completely different. That is where we have selected this customization and personalization tools. So the first one is general orientation towards a technical education, then the values, attitudes, communication skills. These are the different mentoring, teaching, and summer internship, modules we have in place. And one of the element in this is the NEET is one of the platform which we have created. It's nothing but a portal where we have all these advanced technological systems in one place. So that's what we want to, I would like to demonstrate. So this, as I mentioned, it's an artificial intelligence driven, and it's an initiative of MHRD. And we already have 400 plus companies we have evaluated, and the expert committee selected 16 companies with couple of 46 products in place. And we received more than 58 lakh, one second, just give me a minute. I'll just try to pull statistics. We have more than 56 lakh hits in last 1 month time. And along with that, we are adopting and we are capturing all the dimensions of a student. So not only from learning perspective, we are trying to see how much time they are spending on this, which courses are interested for them, and how we can take the 4th generation technologies towards them. Because as you know now, after this COVID, I'm sure every country in the world looking towards India as a manufacturing hub and as a healthcare hub, as a financial hub, because we are 130 plus crore population, and here you see almost every kind of a possible scenario in our country. And this is the biggest platform where they can release their products, they can manufacture their products, they can market their products, they can sell their products, and they can create some use cases out of it, and they can replicate the similar use cases across the world. But we need to prepare ourselves, we need to prepare our students to take our country forward. And from the company's point of view, we all was to thankful to you, because we have seen the kind of a quality you are generating in the courses perspective. That was amazing, and very high quality contents you have. And I'm sure some companies given these courses for free of cost to our students because of this COVID, and they got an amazing response. And please keep in mind, we have control of students as well as student parents and institutes. So on click of a button, we can reach them. We have that power capability with us, and we want to help you. And please help our students with better high quality. And in this junction, I request you all to offer these products for free of cost to our students, so that you generate a lead, and after the COVID, you try to convert them to a sales and and generate income. But at least till this next month end, May end, I request everyone to give it for free of cost. And now I will pass it on to our Dr. LNG. So Dr. NL will go through the portal, and he will give you the rest of the stats. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Myself, Dr. Ilangavan, Assistant Director from Innovation Cell. So the NEET, an initiative for using technology for better learning outcomes, which has been recently launched by Ministry of HRD on January 12th. So the primary purpose of the NEET scheme is to provide an easy access to the technology solution for adaptive learning and skill for enhancing the employability of students, and also to provide a personalized learning solution for the diverse need of a learner. It's a private-public partnership model where the primary objective of the scheme is to provide 25% of the seat for the socially economically weaker section students free. So that was the primary focus of it. As Mr. Buddhaji said, we had a very good response from the education technology companies who have been approached, and they have been evaluated by an independent expert committee. By three expert committee have been evaluated this particular product, and which has been available for the students today. So we have a different sectors of products. It's like we have with an objective of coding and testing. We have a company like Ampisoft, Codetantra, and Face. We have companies on certification courses. We have CL Educate, Wiley, and THG Publications. We are on class management. We have Digital Future of Education and Let's Connect. And we also have on e-content, we have English Helper. We have Infosys, Info Plus Technologies who have been providing e-learning courses. And we have an Upgrade Technologies who have been providing on artificial intelligence and machine learning. Also on assessment, we have Individual Learning, Perfectice, and Ampisoft who have been providing this course. So out of these 13 companies, 3 companies are there with us today who will be addressing about their products and how it is going to benefit the faculties and students today. So we have, first we have a Let's Connect, who Mr. Praveen, who is there with us, who will be addressing about how their product on virtual university is going to get benefited for the faculty and student. We have Mr. Ramana, the founder of Codetantra, will be addressing about how this coding skill will enhance the employability opportunity of the students. And we have Mr. Varun, founder of English Helper, who will be addressing about how English proficiency is helping the students in the employability part. Now, I request Mr. Praveen Ganesh to address the participants on how their product on virtual university will help the students and faculty members in the current COVID period. Mr. Praveen Ganesh. I request you to address the participant.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Ellen. Thank you, Mr. Buddha, for this opportunity. I must say the introduction was very thoughtful, and very good afternoon to you, Mr. Rajiv Kumar, sir. So before I start, I would like to firstly congratulate and appreciate the NEET team for this timely initiative, as this is what exactly is the hour of the need of the hour. So as Dr. Ellen was mentioning, and as Mr. Buddha was mentioning, I think today, given the present situation, I think what we really need to do is try to build one holistic platform to service the students and the education community. So by the beginning of this year, Let's Connect was selected by the NEET community committee to launch the virtual university platform to digitize academic institutions, enhance employability of students through AI-driven personalized learning paths, and map the right job opportunity to the right user, and so on. So as we all know, today's situation has brought the functioning of the academic institution to a complete standstill state. And what we have been building and integrating as part of Let's Connect's offering over a period of time has now become a very useful tool, or rather I would call it as a necessity for many academic institutions. So thanks for this opportunity. I would like to take this time to explain a bit about how we at Let's Connect can help institutions to function virtually, and the way we go about integrating it within the institution. So once the institution registers on our platform, our team gets in touch with the senior management team of the institution and try and explain the various benefits and the functionalities of the platform. We will then request the institution to nominate one representative to manage the admin console. So what happens in the admin console is the representative who manages the admin console basically manages the data within the institution. He will be segregating every single student as per his class, the year, batch, discipline, and he will be organizing the various teaching faculty within the institution as well. And there'll be individual usernames and passwords that'll be generated to each of the stakeholders within the institution. And the way we go about mapping and connecting all the stakeholders within an institution is through a very simple wall interface. So when a user logs in, a student logs in, he gets an interface through which he'll be able to connect with his classmates, with the college mates and faculties who take session for him. He'll be able to make his post. He will be able to share like notes and documents over the wall. And the same wall, the professor or a faculty who takes a session to that particular student or to the class, he will have access to that same student's wall, and he will be able to post lecture notes and question banks, and he'll be able to communicate with the class or to a particular student within the class. The same way, the admin at the very end will be able to access every single student by his class, or if any kind of a circular or any kind of announcement that a university or institution wants to do. They will be using this medium to actually reach out to a particular student or to the entire college. So this is a very important piece in our entire offering of virtual university, because this ensures that there is communication within the community, and each of the stakeholders are kind of brought together in close proximity, and there is visibility into what is happening within the institution. And so this is one very important first piece of what we offer as part of the virtual classroom, virtual university. The second piece is a virtual classroom where what is happening right now is the conventional offline way of a teaching faculty taking a session in front of the blackboard, and students listen to it and they'll be raising their doubts and it gets clarified. But given today's situation, otherwise, this tool is going to be a very, very important tool. This is basically where a teaching faculty will be able to conduct a class session and where all the students, as many as 100 students, can actually be present for the particular class. The tool that the teaching faculty will be able to have on top of him actually delivering the lecture is, he'll be able to plug in a PPT or a PDF document or play a video that the students can watch. And simultaneously, he gets access to a whiteboard through which he'll be able to write notes, and students can actually be able to follow it. The most interesting aspect of this virtual classroom piece of our entire offering is student will be able to record, the professor will be able to record this session, and a student can actually store it in his library. So often we have this problem of attention deficit where students will not, they might miss out a particular piece of the lecture. So what happens here is the student will actually be able to store it in his library, and he can actually go back to the particular lecture and refer when he wants to learn it better, or during his exams, he still will have the lecture live sitting in his library. So this is one important benefit of the virtual classroom being recorded and actually being stored and referred. So this is something that's the need of the hour. What's happening right now is there's tools like Zoom and other tools that's been adopted right now, where as many as 4 to 5 can actually share a session. Whereas in our tool, there'll be more than 100 students who can join a session at one point in time. And even the professors can actually organize these classroom sessions one after the other, the same way it happens offline. And it will be a very beneficial tool in the present situation, is what we feel. The third piece is a learning management tool. So what we do here is a professor will be able to conduct courseworks or assignments and assessments through this particular tool as part of our virtual university block. And he will also be able to monitor the student adoption and consumption of these contents, and how it's actually, how a student is performing. So what we've also went about doing is we joined with one of the world leading partners in content space to build a very huge content repository of books and learning materials as part of this learning management tool. So we have around 13,000 books and 4.6 million pieces of contents in the form of videos, journals, that a professor, on top of what he teaches to the student, will be able to refer these external materials and to a student. So that way it can actually make it a more holistic teaching and learning experience. So on top of this, we also have our coding lab that we've integrated as part of the learning management tool, where a student can get hands-on into coding aspect as well. And we have certification training courses for, say, AWS or Aspire certification. We have training modules built into the learning management tool. And lastly, we also have a particular aspect called Aspired Paths, where a student aspires to become a data analyst or a cybersecurity expert. So there is something called as an aspired path, which can tell him what kind of contents he needs to consume and what kind of certification courses that he needs to be doing to become an expert in that particular space. So we're trying to make it as a supplementing factor through this learning management tool for a student on top of whatever the professor or lecturer teaches. So these external aspects are also made available to him and can be recommended by the lecturer to a specific student based on his line of interest and his needs and what he aspires to become. So finally, the last block is a marketplace that we've already enabled into our platform, which is a bunch of internship providers and job providers, recruiters, and a bit of government, state-driven government initiatives, and also higher study offerings from institutions from abroad. So by this way, we are actually trying to build all the aspects that a student needs and trying to map it to the right student using our deep learning tool. So that way the experience becomes personalized to every single user, and also the whole platform becomes more effective. So long story short, on understanding the student journey and pain points within an institution, we decided to build a one-stop shop, like I just said, with all major features and functionalities under one holistic platform to fulfill the needs of all the stakeholders within the higher education ecosystem. So this is basically a business model, and I feel given the present situation, it is going to benefit all the stakeholders within the education space. In fact, a lot of institutions came forward and enrolled through the NEET platform. Thanks once again for that. And we are seeing enormous benefits and values being driven to students, faculties, and academic institutions. And this is what we measure as our success in our business as well. So in fact, one of the good news that I'd like to share in this particular forum is we've been asked by the Irish government to roll out our platform across some of the major Irish institutions. and as part of a government initiative, and we are directly in touch, and they really recognize the benefits of how we kind of put all of this together and bring it as one single solution to an institution. And so that is something they appreciated, and they are actually rolling us out across all the institutions. And also several other government bodies from various international markets are talking to us to roll out Let's Connect across their institutions as well. So thanks for this opportunity, and we take great privilege to announce that as part of this ambitious NEET initiative, and as requested by a few Dr. Ilanji and a few others from the committee, we are offering the solution and providing all the basic functionalities for free of cost, completely free of cost, for institutions in India during this COVID shutdown. And we truly believe that this can help institutions to function seamlessly during this distressed hour. And the way to go about is to register. An institution can just actually walk into our website at www.letsconnect.com, and they can register, and our team will get in touch within a short span of time to enable the platform within your institution. So thank you once again for this opportunity, and for giving me time to explain our offering to this education space. Thank you, Dr. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Praveen. I request Mr. Ramana, founder of CodeTantra, to address the participant on how this coding skill will be useful for them in enhancing the employability opportunity. Mr. Ramana.
Thank you, Ilan. I really would like to congratulate Rajiv sir, Buddha sir, the complete MHRD and AICTE team to have thought about the NEET program and giving us the opportunity to work along with you to help the student and the faculty community of our country. So let me take a minute. I would like to share my screen and give you an introduction about what CodeTantra is all about. Yeah. So here, as you can see, we are a Hyderabad-based tech startup recognized by Government of India and signed a MOU with AICTE on 12th of January. And here, today, on the MHRD portal, all you have to do is you'll have to go to the product section, okay, and click on it. And then when where you see the CodeTantra products available, like you say Python or you say C or Java, all these products that are listed, you can click on that Learn. And as you can see very clearly, we are also contributing during this COVID shutdown. We would like to contribute all our courses free of cost for 15 days during the lockdown period. All students have to do is just click on this buy button, and they'll be automatically taken to this AICTE NEET subdomain, where all the courses will be available here. Now students can click on those courses, the names of the courses, to get into the course, and then they can start learning the course. Okay, this is how they would get started.
Ramanaji, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So I'm trying to show you the path where how easily you can actually go and create this and get started with learning your programming courses. Now, at the same time, what I would like to do is I'll show you certain aspects of our course which are very unique. In the sense, as we all know, programming is a practice-based course, something like mathematics. The more you practice, the better you are. So let's say, okay, for example, we are learning something in this particular topic called for loops. Okay, so this is how the contents will be available to you as a student. And best part of our platform is it's not only a self-learning platform for students. If colleges want to utilize it to teach, we in fact have more than 100 colleges across the country which are using our platform to teach programming online. Okay, I'll show you that aspect later in a bit. Now, students will start from here. And as you can notice, these questions which are marked orange are attempted, gray are not attempted. When they finish the particular problem, that's when it turns green. Okay. When faculty is teaching, faculty can select a group and then they can say lock screen. When they do locking of screen, all the students who are part of the classroom, they would get the same screen. So that way faculty can engage students collectively across the internet also. Now, as you can see, the topic is presented here, the content part. And then you have a section where you actually write the code, and you see at the below bottom, you see a Linux shell. So you can type your Linux commands. You don't need to install any software. Everything is available directly from the web page. As you can see here, let us say the student writes some code after learning, okay? And Supposing he makes a mistake, right? The requirement here is to print 10 to 20, whereas I'm trying to print, I have written code to print 0 to 10. Okay, let's say student has committed a mistake here. And when he does submit, the system automatically detects what are the errors here. Best part, shows them the errors. And then apart from the errors, student can also launch an online debugger. Now this is extremely important. Students should know how to debug their own code. Only when they are able to debug their code, that is when they actually, master programming. So as you can see, this online debugger helps students to step-by-step step into their code, also change the view to the console view, as you can see here. Okay, they can, normally debuggers allow you to go forward in only one direction. But this particular timeline, what we call timeline debugger, it allows the students to go forward and backward and see through the mistakes which they are doing and then correct the errors. And the best part of this is, supposing you want more explanation, how does a for loop work? Then you click on this interactive video. So videos typically go with a fixed example. Whereas in an interactive video, students can change the values. Now, if you notice, I'm changing the value to 2. Okay, and then get the explanation related to their values. Let us say I'm changing the value from 3 to 7 and say next. So it will go ahead this way and start explaining. Now, this is not just for a trivial example like for loop. Let's say we take up some complicated topic. Let's say we are teaching multi-threading. And there also, before you come to the code, the explanation part, the interactive videos where you actually get to work with how this code works visually. And you, as a learner, you get a chance to tinker with the code. Stop, pause, change the values and see how those values change, how the animation changes according to your input. For example, here, we are starting 3 threads. 3 thread objects are created. The moment you say start on the first one, first thread object is executing, and the control comes to the next line. When you say start, the second thread object also simultaneously executes. These are next to impossible to explain using plain videos. So that's the reason we created these interactive videos. Okay, here, student can pause. He can pause the second thread. He can pause the third thread. He can resume only the second thread. You will see only the second thread will start executing. Okay, let's say we take some more complicated problems. Let's say we are talking about data structures. Let's say AVL trees, binary trees, right? Everywhere there is a concept, there is coding, and before concept and coding, you have the explanation part. Student will have to provide values, their own values. The best part is video usually limits the values to whatever is there in the video. In this case, student provides his values and the animation is according to the values provided by the student. For example, here, it will clearly explain 67 is greater, so it is going to the right and checking and it gets inserted in the right. Let's say the third value provided by student is 78. It will explain step by step. 78 is greater than 34, hence it will go to the right, and then accordingly it will search there, and it is greater than 64. It's again going to the right and inserting. At this level, we don't need height adjustment because we are considering AVL tree. At this level, we need the rules are explained, and then how the height adjustment occurs, what is the rotation that is applied here, everything will be shown. This way, student can get all his doubts clarified by actually working out, tinkering with the code and seeing the explanation. Okay, now I would like to show you how other colleges are utilizing this, okay, this particular platform for various other activities. Colleges can actually conduct exams, online tests, online exams. As I can show you, for example, this is a college called Mallareddy College for Engineering for Women. As you can notice here, these are our online exams that are being conducted. 641 students, 491 participated, and we can see the reports also, drill down reports of each and every college. How do you conduct this? It's so simple. In every college, faculty will be given various roles, question bank admin or lab admin or test admin. So what are you essentially doing is all your functions, you are bringing them to the virtual world. Okay. And now you create a test, display time, total time, negative marking, you'll create a testing profile, and then you design a test, you schedule a test, and then view results. Okay. Now, let's go to viewing results. Let's assume you have already conducted a test. Okay. And then we are looking at the results of that particular test. Okay. I'll pick up an example here. Let me pick up an example. Let us say this was a test conducted, out of which in a class of 56, 53 attempted, 3 did not attempt. Let me click on this particular report. What is this report? It's plagiarism report, and then results. Okay. When you click on the plagiarism report for that particular test, if a particular coding question or a question is presented to multiple students, teacher can filter. I want any match that is above 95 with similar code, okay? And then click on that and see the detailed view. Obviously, if the code is big and still 95% match or 98% match is found, we know what to do. So teacher can take the remedial action there, right? Similarly, results. Once you click on the results, this is how you will be shown all the results of that particular test, okay, which you can download as Excel sheet and see all the columns. Here I'm trying to show you all the facilities and features which faculty normally do it manually, which are automated. In fact, you can go and drill down to each and every student's record. What is the student's name here? It is Rakesh Kumar. What did he score? He scored 14 out of 40. Okay, then these are the questions he answered. He got this question wrong. What is the question? Replace some character in a string. So he wrote some code. We can see the results, the execution results. And we can also see the hidden test cases. So we do have hidden test cases and other things that are available. Now, similarly, there are many reports and things like that. Apart from this, what we have done is recently for COVID, in the last 2 weeks, we integrated an online Teach Anywhere module. In this Teach Anywhere module, I will show you how easy. Now, a faculty can create a course, and all he needs to do to create a course is this. It's extremely simple. I'll just take 2 minutes for creating this course. So all he has to do is select. For example, this is a college, Gudlavalluru College near Vijayawada. They have 500 courses on our platform. Okay, and then you have, you see, I'm selecting a particular course. The moment you select the course, you can give any name here. Okay, let's say I'm giving a demo course. They already started teaching online. All their classes they are taking online now. You can select automatically the groups, the sections which you are teaching for the course will be available here. And the moment you say start the course, it will launch a platform, a window where you can do video teaching, audio teaching, or the way you normally do with Blackboard, you know, take a pen and a paper and just go the normal teaching, whatever you're doing. And the best part of it is, now this is doing an echo test. Okay, once I accept it, you can see that I have a screen where as a teacher, I can upload presentations here. All the students who log in will be visible. I can upload presentation. I can upload videos. For example, let's say I share a particular video that's already there in a link, right? I can do synchronized browsing to that video. So wherever I go, all the students will see the same link there, okay? And then I can stop the video presentation. I can go ahead with actually uploading a PPT. For example, let's say I'm uploading a PPT here and say upload. It will actually slice that PPT into multiple pages and then show each and every student a particular page, whichever we want or we instruct the PPT to show. For example, here, I can say next, next, or I can say click and go to the third window. And the best part is, again, you can do polling, you can ask a question, you can talk about a subject, show a question and say, I want to publish a poll to all the students. For example, here, let me say I'm publishing a poll with 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the moment the students start answer, I know which students have answered what. I can even publish the results to all the students. Okay, I can record this whole class that's happening. If you notice here, I have started the recording of the class. And the best part is I can also turn on my own video. I can turn on my microphone, my video, if you can notice here. Since my video is being used by our Zoom session, it's not giving access to my video. Otherwise, you can actually turn on from here. What I will do is, I will show you how a teacher can start using this, okay? I'll show you how teacher can start using this particular session, this particular feature to use his pen and paper also. For example, I logged in into my mobile phone in the same class. It will allow the teacher who started a class to actually use 2 logins, okay? Now here, there is a join in second device option. The moment I join there, my mobile phone video will become a video stream here on the top where, for example, I'm minimizing the presentation here. And the moment I log in here, you will notice very soon a video will appear of whatever is visible on my mobile phone. Okay? Yeah, now you see. I'm selecting the back-end camera here option. There are 2 options, front camera or back camera. And the moment I select that back camera and show you, you will notice that whatever I'm seeing on my screen here will be visible to you from my mobile's back camera. Okay, so once this is done, you will notice the camera here. Now, I'm just going to this place. I have stacked up some books here just to show you. a pad, writing pad below, and there's books. I'm placing this particular thing on the top of the start so that you can actually see my notebook here. The teacher is free to write whatever they want to write and teach, equations or any integrals or whatever they want. So this becomes their second screen. But the best part is, this is how we can go ahead and start teaching normal class also online. And I can show you as results how these classes are taken in various colleges and how, for example, here, this is how they will appear. For a student, you will see Learn Anywhere and View Classes. When he clicks on the View Class, you will see the various recordings that are there, all the classes that were done. If a student misses a class, he can always choose to select on the recording of that particular class that is available. For example, click here to view recording. I'll show you the various classes that are already recorded by the faculty. So this is a class recorded for digital electronics, and then there's another class that is recorded. I'm just, for benefit of time, I kept the pages open. Now here the teacher is using our platform to teach Python. The voice you're hearing is that of the teacher whose class was recorded previously in that particular college. So this way, now what we have done here is we have shown you how, let me switch on the camera and change the screen share option. Yeah, so this way what we have done is we have given exhaustive support to an institution, a college and faculty, and built it all on the cloud to help them go across and teach whatever they want to teach. The normal function of college is now available for them online from wherever they are. So, and all this, as we say, necessity is the mother of invention. So there was a necessity, dire necessity for all of us to make sure our classroom, our classes go on in spite of all the lockdowns that we have. And that was a motivation factor for us to come out with this particular feature. So I really thank NEET team for giving us this opportunity to present what are courses that we have offered on NEET, as well as the new features that we developed on the platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramana, for giving demonstration about your product. Thank you. I now request Mr. Varun Damodaran, Vice President of English Helper, and I request him to address about how students can improve the English proficiency through your product on English Bolo, which is one of the basic requirements for any student today. Mr. Varun Damodaran, please handle the session.
Thank you, Dr. Ila. I'd just like to take this opportunity to say I hope everyone's staying safe during this during these challenging times, and thank both the AICTE and NEET team for this initiative and holding the session today. Before I talk about English Bolo, I thought it'd be nice just to give a few bullet points on why English and what are the challenges around it. If you really look at English, learning it as a second language is really difficult. It is difficult because phonics tend to be very arbitrary. Sometimes similar letters are pronounced differently. For example, live and live, very similar but pronounced very differently, and it depends a lot on context. And the third is to be able to remember all the grammar rules is slightly difficult. And as a result, we actually believe in teaching functional grammar to a learner than actually teaching them the actual meanings around it. In India, English literacy is a bit of a challenge. We find, according to ACER's report, we find about 25% of grade 5 students can read a simple English sentence. And in terms of job readiness, some graduates could use a little bit more of English help to be able to achieve the jobs that they are trained for. And this is exactly where English Bolo steps in. English Bolo is basically a English proficiency program. We enable learners to learn at their pace in their context. And we're a blended learning program. So basically what we do is we have a component of our program that is self-learning based and another component of our program that is teacher-led. or instructor-led. Our self-learning modules, we have, our programs consist of 100 self-learning modules. These are bite-sized 15-minute modules that can be done on the go, and they're delivered through a proprietary AI platform that basically customizes the English pronunciations to the context. We also have 10 teacher classes that are made available to these learners, where the learners get into a live instructor-led teacher class. They connect with a teacher at the other end, and these teacher classes are made available to learners 7 days a week from 12 hours in a given day. And they can pick any time and of the day that they wish, and they'll be able to get their slot. All our programs are CIFAR aligned. CIFAR is basically an internationally recognized body. It's like the TOEFL program or like the IELTS test. CIFAR is created by Cambridge, and we align our programs to that. And essentially, it is focused on reading comprehension and teaching a learner the functional English language. We make sure the language is, the program assigned is contextual to the learner. I'll explain a little more about that a little later. But our programs are made to be available easily. They can be accessed anytime from either a mobile or a desktop. If we really look at what makes this product unique, one is we use a multisensory learning approach, and research has proved that learning a second language is the most effective way to be delivering the learning program. And second is we focus on building a learner's confidence and focus on building a base so that they can then go out and at the end of the program be confident enough to be able to practice in their real environment. And through practice, we believe, is the key to success. Our teacher classes are, again, very conveniently made available, and it's very easy for learners to be able to access it. Broadly speaking, we have 3 programs. Our first program is concentrated on helping learners to basically learn how to read. And it has a lot of pictures and support material for these learners. It's meant for people who know just about the English alphabets. The second program is helping a learner transition from learning to read to reading to learn. So it will start out with few pictures, but the program will end with longer sentences to enable these learners. And the last program is purely from a perspective of reading to learn. And there we have longer sentences, and all our content is structured in a story format so that it keeps the learners engaged, and we try teaching them soft skills along with it at this stage so they can be better prepared for interviews, etc. as they progress through their career. We have a very simple sign-up process. A learner comes into the program, they quickly take a multiple choice test. Based on the test, they're assigned a program. They go through the program. There are 100 self-learning lessons in a program and 10 teacher classes. After the program, they take another test. And based on that test, they get assigned a completion certificate. So it's a simple 100-day program. And to be able to essentially access our programs, you can do it through either a mobile device, or you can do it through a computer. And all you need is an internet connection that's 512 kbps. On the NEET platform, as part of this initiative and given the current environment, we're offering 25 days of free learning, where a learner can register on the NEET platform. They get a coupon code, and that coupon code can be applied on our installment plan. Thank you. Thank you for this chance. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Yes, Mr. Varun, thanks for your valuable information about your product. I'm sure we have been seeing a number of students have been registering on the NEET portal to your product. So now thanks for joining this. Now I request I keep this session for no question and answer. So I open this session for question and answer. I request the participant to ask the question for the expert speakers.
Ellen.
Yes, sir.
Before starting question and answer, I have just one clarification from Mr. Praveen, please. Can you answer Mr. Praveen, please?
Yes, sir.
You have introduced the concept of the virtual university, right? So just the sake of curiosity and just for my clarification, how do you conduct the examination? Because the examination of the important part of any university system, right?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. So as part of the learning management tool, so what we have is we have a provision where a teaching faculty will be able to upload the question paper and set a particular time when students will be able to, they have to come and actually attend that particular session. So it can be a virtual way of a question and answer session, or they be present in front of the camera and actually answer it through the platform. So we have facial recognition that's inbuilt into it. And what the AI also does is it actually keeps monitoring the movement and the engagement of the student, and it picks up data points and says if there is any malpractice. So we have a mechanism there to actually monitor and make sure that malpractice doesn't happen. So quizzes or a live interaction or through a computer conducting an examination can actually be done, and where they actually give an assignment or a coursework to that particular student and or to a bunch of students. At any point in time, the teaching faculty will be able to open his phone and see how many people have actually logged into it and how much consumption of that particular coursework has happened. Have they submitted it? And if any kind of a course material was submitted by the teaching faculty to a bunch of students, they will be able to monitor as to how many students have gone through how much time of consumption, or from the timing they will be able to pick it up. So to a great extent, we have built this assessment, assignment, coursework, and examination module into the learning management tool. So since it's a very short session, I couldn't show a demo.
No. I want to know that whether a student from his home can take the examination.
Exactly, sir. Yes, sir. They will be able to do the examination over the system. So he should be present during that set point hour for 2.5 hours during the exam time, and his camera should be on, and that's all it needs. The rest of the things the system takes care completely, sir.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Alan, now you can continue. You can continue with your question.
Yeah. I request the participant for raise your questions for the expert speakers.
Hello, sir. This is Dr. Dola Sanjay, Principal and Professor, Ramchandra College of Engineering, Andhra Pradesh, sir. My question is to Professor Rajiv Kumar, Member Secretary, AICTE, New Delhi, sir. The question is, how AICTE digital initiative help faculty and students in this pandemic COVID 2019?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Now, there is no other alternative. When we thought that we should come out with some innovative ways, then we designed, and you will be surprised to know that we are conducting 44 faculty development programs in trust areas remotely for the faculty members of technical institutions. And as soon as we started the registration, right in 3 hours, there were 30,000 registrations. And it is very, very difficult to include all such 30,000 faculty members. Then what we thought that we will conduct we increased number of programs. So this is one area where we are conducting the faculty development programs, online faculty through Zoom or through WebEx or any other technology. And feedback received from the faculty member is very encouraging. Now it has opened a path that in future also we can conduct such programs remotely through technology. And as far as students are concerned, we have facilitated, we have provided so many solutions like we were discussing through NEET. So many companies, they are providing their solution, otherwise, which are those who are very costly, free of cost in the national interest to our institutions. So these are some of the initiatives we have taken. And I was asking my friend Praveen also, because the big problem for the institution and universities is how to conduct the examination. Most of the universities, students, they have attended the classes through e-classes. They have almost all the students they have attended, particularly in remote areas where there is a problem of internet or bandwidth. They have some problem, but most of the part in the students, they have attended the classes. Now the problem is how to conduct the examination. That's why my question was from Mr. Praveen, sir, because this is going to be a big problem. If this problem continues after 3rd May also, we have to think, we have to switch over for online examinations also. So this digital mode of teaching, learning, and even evaluation and examination is going to be a great help, and AICT is taking proactive action and initiatives to bringing it to the masses.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Just to add to Rajiv ji, we have created a helpline system. Rajiv ji, can you please explain about our helpline system? Maybe, that's another digital initiative we have.
Yeah, we have created a helpline system also for all those who are in need of, say, he's not having food, he's not having any access, or he's ill, so he can come to our platform, that is helpline for the COVID sufferers, or those who are facing problem in terms of logistics, food, or any other thing also, they can contact. We have provided all such information to this platform. How many hits so far there? Mr. Buddha, can you tell us?
Yes, sir. We have, the main intention of this platform is connecting the help giver and help seeker. As you know, a lot of students stranded in various locations. Some are stranded inside a hostel, some at home, some somewhere between outside. So, we want to give them a help with help of the nearby institutes. So we requested all the colleges. Within 3 hours, we did this entire portal development. And within 4 hours time, we received 28,000 institutes and NGOs offered their help. And the students started interacting with them. It's very plain, very simple. Within 3 clicks, you can receive the help. Like example, let me share my screen and demonstrate. I think this will help everyone. And you can also share it to the entire world. So it's called helpline.aict, and you can key in the city. Example, in this case, I will key in Hyderabad. So if you key in Hyderabad and select the city, so you will see, the kind of a simple, easy to use interface in front of you. And you will see the kind of a help you require, from a student point of view. So you can have class related help, you can take placement related, online virtual classes, scholarship related, library, books, counseling, food, canteen. If some students are not getting food, they can simply go here and complain, accommodation related, etc. And another beauty of this system is, you can select different languages, so it automatically translates everything, and you have that Google translation also in place. And let's say in this scenario, I would like to learn some online virtual classes. So all you need to do is just click on it. 1 second. All you need to do is just click on it, and you will see all the help they are offering. I think due to some, internet issue, you don't see this button here. but there is a contact us button on emergency. They can contact them, or they will see the institute name. They can see the institute name. They can directly contact them, or there is a form on the corner. 1 second, I think I will just come out. Click on it now. Yeah. So there is a button called contact. In emergency, you can directly click on it and you can contact them. So while contacting, it will ask you whether you are a student or an institute or a teacher, and they will fill in all this information, and the student will get connected to the help seekers. So this is one area. The second one is you can search using your location. So example, you want to see all the services offered in Hyderabad. So all you need to do is just click on, select on the search institutes and key in. You will see I hope you may recognize some of them, like Government Polytechnic in Telangana district. I think, someone is offering accommodation, class related, on virtual classes. I mean, all these people are offering help in Hyderabad. So you will see the big list here. So if you want to interact, example, you are looking for a medical health or health related or medicines, you can contact them by clicking this simple form. So this is very simple. It became very popular on the student circle, and they all are using it. And it has another provision, like you can see all the emergency numbers of COVID, and you have a self-assessment test also, where you can test yourself, on the COVID test. I mean, it will give all the options whether you got affected with COVID or not. So it has all those options in place. I request you please forward this to the students and all the NGOs and institutes Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Varsha Turkar, currently working as a professor and head of the department at Don Bosco College of Engineering, Goa. I have one question to Mr. Varun. Does every person get the same program?
Dr. Varsha, thank you for the question. It's a good one. The way we go about the program is we want to keep it contextually relevant to every learner. So we don't want to give them material that is too difficult, that discourages them from learning. And we don't want to give them material that is too easy, that again results in discouragement. What we do is we have a placement test at the beginning, and we don't like calling it a test because there are no marks. The purpose behind it is basically to assign a relevant program. And this test is adaptive. So essentially, a learner can answer anything between 10 to 40 questions, depending on the English proficiency. And the test is a purely multiple choice based test, which is checking for a learner's vocabulary and reading comprehension ability. Based on that, they get assigned one of the 3 programs that we have. So for example, your English proficiency can be much higher than mine, and hence you will get a program C, whereas my proficiency is slightly lower and I can get a program A.
Okay,
thank you for it.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, sir. I am Dr. Sallomadi, Professor Mallareddy College of Engineering for Women, Telangana. My question to Mr. Varun, sir.
Good afternoon, doctor.
How many learners who completed the English Bowler program have improved?
Thank you for the question. And it is a good question because English, learning a language requires consistent practice and it requires adherence to methodology. If we look at learners who have been consistently engaging with our program and been following the recommended methodology, both in terms of the timelines that we have set in terms of 100 days, because it needs that consistent practice, and in terms of the instructions that are given in the self-learning modules, then we have seen those learners improve by 95 to 97%. You will always find a subset that is not improving. That's a small 3 or 2% primarily because of the testing. Sometimes the moment you put a test out there, learners become anxious, and out of that anxiousness, scores tend to go down. And some of these tests are not monitored. It's based on self monitored. So sometimes we find scores going haywire. So if you take all of that out, we found 95 to 97% of our learners improving. And improving in the sense of being able to move from one level to the next level. Thank you for the question, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rishabh this side, final year student of BTech IT from lovely Professional University, Jalandhar. My question is to Mr. Ramana, CEO and founder of CodeTantra. I believe that programming language is based to each and every technology, and continuously learning them is essential. So if I want to learn any certain programming language from your platform, what support do I get? As sometimes just a software cannot help a student learn. Thank you.
Thank you, Rishabh. Thank you, Rishabh. You're very true. Though we have built world's first interactive online debuggers or interactive videos, which are essential for students to actually tinker with the code and find out where they are going wrong and things like that. You're very true. There will come a moment in every programmer's life where, when they write code, it's like, okay, I understood the problem, but I don't know how to start, or they get an error which they're not able to debug on their own. So this is where we have a very unique support team. We have a support team that works in 3 shifts, from morning 8 o'clock to evening 10 o'clock, even on Sundays. And the members of the support team are all programmers, okay? And they really take pride and they love debugging others' problems. So we have this more than 150,000 users on our platform who are continuously on a daily basis, they keep writing code, as part of the college assignments or learning on their own. And whenever they are stuck and they ask a question to our support team, they can always contact us by phone or by the email. They send screenshots. We have systems built in where teachers can directly see the code written by students and suggest them errors. So support team has ways to help them, and this is how we have been resolving the problem statement or problems the students are encountering even in the remote rural areas. Thank you for this question, Rishabh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, and thank you for providing all the courses for free.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Rekha Kashyap, Head of the Department Computer Science, Indraprasth Engineering College, Ghaziabad, UP. My question, first of all, I'd like to congratulate all the 3 companies for wonderful demonstration of their products. Now, my question and concern is same as the concern of Dr. Rajiv Kumar. This question is for Dr. Ramanna. Can we use your platform for conducting lab exams of our students? You have very briefly touched upon the plagiarism point of view. So now I specifically want to ask you that if I conduct a lab exam, this plagiarism check will be only among the students, or it will help me for the plagiarism check on internet also?
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. So this is a very pertinent question across the board, I'm sure, with every faculty. And what Rajiv sir asked and what Praveen also answered, right? How to conduct online exams which have the sanctity of an exam, okay? Proctoring and all that. So let me show you, let me do a small screen share here to make it more explicit on what I want to say. Now, when you set a question paper, you can have different types of questions like multiple choice, fill in the blank, spoken English, essay, or coding question, right? I know your specific question is coding question, but then the question can be spoken like Viva questions and things like that. So there's different types that are, enabled on our platform. Now, let me take you to the plagiarism part, okay? The moment you will see when a particular test paper has multiple questions and the same question is provided to multiple students, okay? What does plagiarism mean? The kind of match that you find within the content of both 2 or 3 students, right? So here, as you can notice, this student versus this student. Okay, what is the percentage match of their code, right? And then when you, of course, your question is also not only this part, are there any checks with external resources? Yes, this is where now we are working, where it will not only check between the code written among the students in that particular class or in that college, but also external resources like, most of the time we are going to, now we are building that to go to HackerRank or CodeChef or, Geek for Geeks or most commonly used coding platforms, right? Apart from this, there is one interesting development that nowadays we see with students. I know you did not bring that up, but I would like to talk about it. So this is a classic view a teacher will have against the courses that they are delivering. If you notice here, this red color indicates there is some suspicious activity. Now let me take to that particular student's report. This student, for example, this question is marked as blue, meaning there is some kind of problem in this particular question. Rest of the questions are fine. So let me go to that question. In that question, user likely to have read the question before answering. Now, what is this question? This is a multiple choice question. Now, user has answered it, but you can, if there is such a reading material, I mean, you can't expect users to directly answer it correctly without, going through the reading material. So there are different, there is a AI algorithm written behind that will flag. For example, a student might have immediately clicked on answer without reading it, or this looks very similar to the other student's answer, or it does not appear to be a human activity, meaning student is using some plugin or some script or some bot to automatically do it. Okay. Apart from this, we're now working on the same thing which Praveen said, with face recognition, where you can actually see the blinking of eyes. You see that he's not camouflaging by putting a photograph on top and things like that. So with this, I think with all these tools collectively, we cannot determine the marks, but we can definitely suggest errors. And the moment the whole session is recorded any which way, we expect, for example, remote interviews today are conducted online like this, where the interviewee is there online, interviewer is there online, and they expect the interviewee to have the video camera switched on so that they can see, right? So as long as the test is functioning, if supposing we have all the tools that are there to do screen capturing as well as video camera, then we can see he's not switching tabs or he's not going away from the computer or taking some external help and things like that. We can also have the audio open, and then that profile will be there in the cloud, since everything is all cloud-based. So I will not say that we have a 100% solution, but always we are progressing towards it. I hope it has answered your question.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much.
So, good afternoon, everyone. This is good afternoon, everyone. This is Praveen Kumar, studying third year from the Department of ECE, JPR Engineering College. Actually, my question is with Mr. Praveen Ganesh, the CEO of the Let's Connect app. Hello.
Hello, Praveen. Hi.
Yeah, we are listening. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, I have a question with how our institute can actually access the Let's Connect platform. Does the company have campus recruitment for the institutes?
Okay. Praveen, we've recently signed with the JPR Institute as well. So the platform is actually available to all the students. So third year, I think first 2 years have been rolled out. The third year is still to be rolled out. But as a student, we have, if you go to App Store and Play Store, you have, apart from Let's Connect's actual application, you have something called as Let's Connect for NEET. So that's downloadable, and you don't need any password username for that. So you will be able to access a whole repository of contents and internships through that particular application. But your institution we've just signed with your institution. So the virtual university platform will be available from next month onwards from your institution.